Never seen such a capricious old man. He just went to the supermarket to buy a bottle of milk. Listened to the cashier casually. It's not the medicine but the belief that counts in curing a terminal illness. And then he made a decision to walk 1,000 kilometers across the whole of England, from the southwest to the northeast, to meet a female colleague he hadn't seen in 20 years. However, he didn't have enough cash with him. He had left his cell phone at home, and wore a pair of leather shoes that were not fit for walking, perhaps fearing that his impulse might fail. He did not intend to inform his wife of his plans.
Please tell her, this time I won't let her down.
After hanging up the phone, after writing "wait for me" on the envelope he intended to send to his female co-worker, at the age of 65, Harold set off without a second thought. As the saying goes, fate will make one experience the same thing over and over again, until a new response is given to the letter from his co-worker this morning. Harold, who had spent his life in cowardice and indifference. Harold had planned to give only a few words in reply, but this time he was brave enough to write back differently. His long corroded gears of fate miraculously turned at this moment. But he was an old man, after all, and had hardly traveled in his life. Just getting out of town had drained his strength. He knew there was no turning back, so he dialed his waiting wife. Hearing that her husband had made a crazy decision for another woman, the wife hangs up in anger, but then she thought of the dusty past. She picks up the phone again, thinking of her husband's frail health, but Harold had already turned away in despair, after a night's rest at the hotel. The next day Harold went on his way empty-handed. This day the sky was drizzling. He walked only 14 kilometers in the cold. He had to stop to check the bruises on his ankles, and just then, a little girl blurted out, "You stink." And finally, Harold stopped rushing. He began to think long and hard about his impulses. He bought toiletries and took a hot shower. After drying his damp clothes and treating his foot, he slept soundly that night. The next day he was back on the road as if he had been revived. He didn't walk very fast. He stopped to rest if his feet were hurting him. He didn't have the strength to carry water. If he was really thirsty, he'd ask for a drink at a house he passed along the way. The farmer's wife had a puzzled look in her eyes. Harold explained, "He's got a long way to go. He just hasn't gotten the hang of it yet." The kind lady opens up the conversation. The simpler things are, the harder they are to do well. For example, eating. Many people can't even eat well. And sleeping. How many people suffer from insomnia? Raising children is even more difficult. Harold's eyes get moist when he talks about children. He thought of his own children. Harold's wife was completely flustered. For more than 20 years, because of their children, they were like strangers living under the same roof. They spoke no more than 10 sentences a day. They seldom communicated with each other except in their daily lives. But this time the wife stayed at home for several days. Fear of missing Joe's call. She even took the initiative to apologize on the phone. She only hoped that her husband would return home. But Harold on the other end of the line still wouldn't come back.